What's up, y'all? This is Sire back with another reaction, y'all, from the Fat Man's Podcast. I got another reaction for y'all. But before we get in this reaction, y'all, please hit that like button, subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 200 subscribers by the end of this month, so please do share it with your family, friends, whoever you see. Shoot, if you see somebody on the street, shoot, might as well. You know what I mean? But hey, I got another reaction for y'all. I got a Jesse Lee Peterson reaction from the Fallen State. The title of the reaction name is Woke Social Justice Activist ends their interview. What the, that's his saying. What the, or amazing, or beta. I might do a reaction, beta compilation, beta. But hey, y'all, let's get this reaction from Jesse Lee Peterson. I know y'all like these. I'm gonna do the most saddest moments the next video, but shoot, I'm just doing little interviews now, so let's see. So let's get in here, y'all. Ooh, dang, I had to crack my knuckles, man. All right, y'all, let's get in here.
2 seconds ago, you were saying unless black children are raised by a decent mom and dad who are married.
That's true, because when I was growing up, black people were like a decent people then, and so they respected the order. They got married.
What year did you grow up, sir?
I'm 72.
Are you a baby boomer?
I'm 72 right now.
Part of the boomer group.
Yeah, I ain't know Jesse Lee Peterson that old. He looked good for him to be 70 years old. You know, he looked built, and you know, he looked decent. No homo, but you know, he looked decent.
Okay, so you're part of the last Jim Crow generation, right?
And
you grew up doing Jim Crow,
under the
and I think your whole generation needs some counseling. Y'all grew up doing Jim Crow.
I grew up under the Jim Crow law, and black people were better off then because they loved God and they respected the order. If a black woman got pregnant out of wedlock, it was an embarrassment to the family. She would have to have a shotgun wet or go into hiding. But black people are not more like that anymore. They're just crazy. They are blaming and begging and whining and trying to take from the white.
That is true. Like even when I talk to the old people, they like, you know, if they got pregnant, the man would have to marry you, you know what I mean? You and him, and I guess him and her would have to get married. I guess it is a shotgun marriage. Like if she got pregnant and, you know what I mean, they would have to get married. You know what I mean? Those are the rules. And then if she did get married, it was a embarrassment to the family.
White people, and I'm surprised to see the blacks act that way because they were more independent.
The blacks, because you know you're black too. When you're talking about the blacks, I think Mr. Jesse Lee Peterson, as someone who grew up during the Jim Crow generation, I am not sure what it is that you are basing your belief on in terms of talking about morality, in terms of talking about how black people were better off then. I think that we've had some difficult periods within our community, and I would definitely.
I mean, if you go by the stats, we did have better community. If you want to go by the stats, you want to go logically, we did have. If you just go by the stats, we did have a better community. We are married at 80%. We married at 80%. You had the fathers in the home. What else did you have? You know, you had black businesses. I'm not saying there ain't now, but like, you know what I mean, we had built the Wall Street in Tulsa and all that. So it's like,
definitely argue that Jim Crow was a difficult time for
no, it wasn't.
folks.
It was not.
The terror. Yes, it was. Because all the research shows it was. I'm talking my own father. I should get my father on the phone to talk to you, because I think perhaps you are not remembering.
In the good old days, when Jim Crow existed, the black people knew that it was the Democratic Party. The Jim Crow law was about keeping blacks out of the Democratic Party, and that all white people were not against black people.
Sorry, hold on.
And as a
There we go.
result, the blacks and the whites started the Republican Party because the Jim Crow Democratic Party did not want the blacks to be a part of it. Do you believe that racism is
I didn't know that. Y'all tell me if that's true or not. I don't know if that's true or not. You know what I mean? Sometimes Jesse Lee Peterson, he could be going off the mouthpiece. Some of the stuff he'd be saying like, I don't know about that one, but like just like the other reaction where he said like the woman is Satan is the god of women. Like, dude, like, you know, that's, you know. And you know, I respect the Sleep Piece. I just think, you know, sometimes he just go off the mouthpiece. He just says stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Which, you know, everybody says stupid stuff. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with it, but you know, I don't know. I don't know if he accepts like sometimes he could be wrong. You know what I mean? I don't know.
this?
Okay, so let me start here, Mr. Peterson, because I think that you are confused, and perhaps you're conflating things to fit whatever narrative that you have. You started off with, it's like, until Black people come back to God. And before that, it was Blacks are wild and out of control. And now it's about, you know, what's happening in the Democratic Party. Are you a Republican? Do you believe there's racism? I think that you and I probably will not be able to agree. I find your comments quite inflammatory.
What do you mean by that?
That's all I like, you know, like if, you know what I mean? I respect whoever, you know, I respect people that, you know, have different opinions. They're not just so, you know, so get so frustrated on like, you know, like if we have a good, like, you know, sometimes I have disagreed with my mom, my dad, my sister, a lot of, you know, you know, with people, with family, you know, and friends and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that, to have a different opinion than everybody else, and I think that's good. And I like to hear people out, you know what I mean, and maybe I can learn something, you know what I mean. Then like, just like sometimes, like I be seeing y'all in the comments, I be reading them like, dang, yeah, you right, like if you do the research, like especially on the Elohim's thing. Like, dang, I didn't know Elohim was like another name for God. I'm like, oh, okay, well, there's something I just learned. You know what I mean? So that's all. That's all I like to have disagreements with people. You know what I mean? But that's just my thing.
And almost, yeah, well, I think that you're saying these things to get a
Are they
rise. I
not true
really
though, what
do.
I'm saying?
I cannot believe, as someone who has grown up under this American regime, who saw firsthand the impact of Jim Crow on the lives and the psyche and the emotional state of Black folks, someone who has seen with the
But that's
long
made up
eye of
history. That's a rewriting of history. That's not true.
that, no,
I don't know how old this lady is. I don't know if she grew up in a. She don't look that old. I guess Jesse Peterson don't look that old too. He look like he up in his 60s, like 60. I would say like 64, like early 60s. I don't know how old this lady is. I don't know if she grew up in the Jim Crow era or not, but you know, I think we were kind of better off when we had Jim Crow. And I'm not saying segregation isn't good. Like segregation is not good. Like, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? I just think we was kind of better off.
there's no rewriting history. That's not what we're talking about. We're not rewriting history. I said, as someone who grew up under Jim Crow, which you did, as someone who was
Oh.
able to see the state and condition of Black folks in this country under Jim Crow, which you
I did not. No, that's
as
not
someone
true.
who has been, you did. You cannot tell me that. So you never watched TV, you never read the newspaper, you never had any sense of what happened because you were growing up under this time. You never heard about lynchings, you never heard about Emmett Till, you never heard about the Civil.
Well, lynching actually happened. Well, I guess so. Yeah, it did happen after slavery. First of all, how you gonna tell the man what he saw during the Jim Crow era? Like, seriously, how you gonna tell him? Like, unless you could go back in time with him and see what he saw, you can't really tell him what he saw when he was younger.
civil rights movement.
There
You never heard
were
about the assassination of
incidents,
Dr.
but
King. You never heard about the assassination of Malcolm X. You never heard about the assassination of Medgar Evers. You never heard about any of that.
I heard of
Because if you
those
say
things.
you never heard of any of that, then that's a
I
problem.
heard of those things, but it's nothing like what the blacks are pretending that it was. It looked like the blacks are using it for personal gain. So I want to ask you.
Using the civil rights movement for personal gain?
Yeah, absolutely.
How do we use the civil rights movement for personal gain?
The worst thing that ever happened to the blacks were the civil rights movement.
The worst
when they
thing
did that
the worst thing that ever happened to black people was the civil rights.
Right, because let me tell you why. What the blacks did was prior to the civil rights movement, they didn't have a leader over them. God was their leader, and the parents were the leader of their children. But what the blacks did, they allowed Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton and all those guys to become their leaders, and so.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Like, cause after MLK had died, a lot of stuff got twisted around, and MLK was just trying to say, love people, we all the human race, we should all have respect for each other, you know what I mean? But then it got kind of twisted around when he had passed away. We had Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, which, if y'all need to go, because Al Sharpton is, I don't know, he was trying to sell drugs too, so it's like, I don't have no problem with it, because he changed his life around. I don't know. I think everybody should have their own opinion on everything, to be honest, and not just so wrapped up in this and what people say. Well, what people say, like, you know what I mean? Have your own opinion instead of using all this propaganda now, you know what I mean?
So they sold them to the Democratic Party for the vote, and I
meant to ask y'all, like, do y'all think social media was like the worst thing that ever happened to people, or the best thing that ever happened? Y'all tell me in the comments.
And agreeing that they would be the black folks' leader, but blacks never had leaders before those votes. But I gotta ask you this:
never had leaders before. I mean, the fact that in naming the leaders, you said
they're the black people leaders as a result of the civil rights movement.
No, not the black. There were a number of black people who were leading. I'm thinking of Dorothy Ahide, who led the National Council of Negro Women. I'm thinking of Ella Baker, who helped to organize.
Why are black people so weak? They need leaders. Why are they so weak? They need a leader.
Okay, Mr. Peterson, I think that we have reached an end. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you, but I do not think we're going to agree. And I am very concerned about the things you're saying, but I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you, but I think I'm going to discontinue.
Will you at least do my hot seat before you go? I have a hot seat.
What's the hot seat?
I need you to answer these questions as quickly as possible. Okay? True or false? Black people always late.
Okay, goodbye, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Peterson.
Hey, Jesse.
That must be a yes. Amazing. She put a tail between her legs and ran. What the? That was Dr. Kay Whitehead, Associate Professor of Communication.
Well, she married to Lamar Whitehead. She was up in that church when they got robbed. Hell no. Hey, let's just finish this out. We'll see what else Jesse Lee Peters about to say. Amazing.
An African and African American study at University of Miramar. If y'all see her running down the road, ask her why did she run from the father state, Jesse Lee Peters, all right? But she gone now. I didn't use a prayer for her no more. She gone.
All right, y'all, that's the end of the video. Y'all tell me what y'all think up in the comments. On mine thing, like, I guess, you know what I mean? I don't understand why people don't just finish out the interview. Like, just let them, you know what I mean, y'all can have this civil discourse, you know what I mean? And if you disagree, that's okay. You know what I mean? But hey, y'all, I will see you guys on the next one. But please, before we end this all, please hit that like button, subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 200 subscribers by the end of this month. So please do share with your family, friends, your cousins, everybody in your whole family, everybody in your whole, and your friends, your shoot, strangers, everybody. But hey, y'all, I will see you guys on the next one. Osiris is out from the Fat Man's Podcast.